Before paper money ruled America, before credit cards, before modern banking, there was a heavy piece of metal that carried the full weight of a young nation, the United States $1 coin. These were not just coins, they were statements of independence, power, and survival. In this video, we uncover the top 5 first US dollar coins ever created, coins that helped define American money from the very beginning. Struck in an era of revolution, exploration, and uncertainty, these early silver dollars were carried by merchants, soldiers, and pioneers as the nation fought to establish its identity. Each of these coins tells a story of bold design, political tension, minting challenges, and extreme rarity. Today, some were struck in tiny numbers, some barely survived circulation, and some were never meant to exist outside government vaults, and yet today, they rank among the most valuable and desired coins on Earth, selling for prices that can rival mansions and private art collections. From America's very first silver dollar to legendary early issues that shocked the numismatic world, this countdown will change how you see money forever. These coins are not just collectibles, they are the foundation of American wealth, history, and legacy. And by the end of this video, you will understand why the first US dollar coins. Imagine holding in your hand a coin that is more than just a piece of metal, a coin that carries the legacy of the entire American presidency, a coin that does not simply shine with metallic brilliance, but glows with the weight of national history and the authority of the leaders who shaped the United States into the world power it is today. Welcome to Coins, where history lives in your palm, and today we journey deep into the origin, the rise, the inspiration, the production, the artistry, and the national story behind the U.S. presidential first dollar coin, a series that became a modern symbol of honor, innovation, and historical education, crafted by the United States Mint as a living tribute to the iconic figures who defined American identity. From the moment the presidential dollar coin program was announced, collectors across the nation felt something different, because this series was not just another release from the Mint. It was a bold vision, a modern attempt to bring the faces of every American president into the daily lives of millions through circulating currency, and to rekindle national interest in numismatics, a dream that began in the early 2000s. With the Presidential $1 Coin Act, a law passed to ensure that every president from George Washington onward would receive their own uniquely designed dollar coin, minted with care, precision, and symbolic detail. To understand the full magnitude of the U.S. presidential first dollar coin, we must start long before its release in 2007. We must step into the history of American coinage and the evolution of portrait coins. For more than a century, U.S. coins used symbols and allegorical figures rather than real individuals. The founding generation believed that glorifying leaders on money felt similar to monarchies, but as decades passed, attitudes shifted. Presidents began to appear on coins, such as the Lincoln cent in 1909, the quarter redesign with George Washington in 1932, and the Jefferson nickel in 1938. These transitions made the idea of the presidential dollar series not only possible but inevitable. The early 21st century Congress determined that the nation needed a circulating educational tribute that honored each president in the order of service and would inspire younger generations to learn about leadership, the presidency, and the nation's story. The program was designed not simply to honor these leaders, but also to revive the excitement of coin collecting. Similar to the dramatic boom created by the State Quarters program in 1999, when the very first coin of the series was released, it featured George Washington, the first president of the United States, and it stunned collectors with its new sleek, bold format. Unlike any circulating US dollar coin before it, the coin carried a side-edge inscription instead of traditional front or back mint marks and phrases. This special edge carried the year of minting, the mint mark, the motto E pluribus unum, and in God we trust, a design decision that connected this coin to early American history, when many coins also carried edge lettering. The verse showcased a sharp, high-relief portrait of George W. Washington facing forward with his name displayed. In a clean circular arc around the rim, along with the years he served as president, this was the first time circulating currency displayed presidents in the exact order they served, marking a chronological journey through U.S. leadership. The reverse displayed the magnificent Statue of Liberty, a powerful symbol linking the American presidency to the enduring idea of freedom. Collectors were fascinated not only by the aesthetic beauty of this first coin, but also by the symbolism it carried. This coin represented the foundation of the Republic, the beginning of constitutional leadership, and the monumental responsibility Washington held as the first executive. The coin served as a miniature history lesson, routing countless Americans back into the early days of the American Revolution, the drafting of the Constitution, the establishment of the executive branch, and the creation of the presidency as we know it today. This first coin entered circulation. It set the tone for the entire presidential dollar program. The Mint released new coins every few months, each showcasing a new president, each with an original portrait crafted by master engravers, and each with the same reverse design of Lady Liberty glowing with national pride. And every release deepened the popularity of the series. The George Washington first dollar coin became the face of the collection, a foundation piece, a symbolic starting point, and a must-have for every collector. The creation process behind this first coin was extensive and involved historical research, portrait comparisons, sculpting clay models, testing strike quality, and adjusting relief depth to ensure that Washington's likeness was accurate, dignified, and instantly recognizable. The Mint used advanced digital scanning and laser technology to refine every curve, every shadow, and every facial detail, making the presidential dollar series one of the most artistically sophisticated modern U.S. coin programs. This first coin also carried historical weight because it reminded Americans of the qualities Washington represented: integrity, leadership, restraint, and the refusal of absolute power. He stepped down after 2 terms, setting a standard that shaped the entire future of presidential leadership. The dollar coin representing him was crafted not only as currency but as a tribute to the man who set the moral and constitutional direction of the nation. The release of the presidential first dollar coin also came during a time when physical currency was changing across the world. New alloys, upgraded machinery, anti-counterfeiting enhancements, and laser etching were transforming the production of coins. The U.S. Mint adopted modern methods to give each presidential coin a strong golden hue, using manganese brass, a metal combination that gave the series its signature color and durability. This unique appearance made the coins stand out immediately in pockets and coin rolls and became part of their iconic identities. The series continued. Collectors realized that owning the George Washington coin meant more than simply owning the first coin in the set. It meant holding the symbolic beginning of an entire journey through American leadership. Every coin that followed, from John Adams to Thomas Jefferson to James Madison, all the way through later presidents, traced their lineage back to this first release, the one that opened the door to a new era of educational collectible U.S. currency. The story of the U.S. presidential first dollar coin is a story of innovation, national pride, and the power of remembering where the country came from. It is a tribute that connects modern Americans to the extraordinary men who built, shaped, protected, and expanded the United States. Each time a collector picks up this first coin, they are reminded of the courage of the early republic, the birth of democracy, and the leadership that set the nation in motion. Imagine holding in your hand not just a coin, but a doorway into the story of an entire nation, a single piece of metal carrying the weight of leadership, legacy, triumph, conflict, revolution, and the very heartbeat of America. And imagine a coin so unique that it was designed not only to honor the past, but to change the future of numismatics forever. Welcome back to Coins. And today we take you deep into the world of the U.S. presidential first dollar coin, a coin that stands as an unbroken timeline of American power and the voices that shaped the nation from the birth of the Republic to the modern White House. And as we peel back the layers of this series, you will discover how each president left a mark so powerful that the United States Mint chose to immortalize it in gold-colored brilliance, transforming a simple dollar coin into a masterpiece of storytelling, history, technology, and patriotic art. Now sit back, because this is not just a presentation, this is a journey across centuries, a journey across presidencies, across wars, and victories, across innovation and national identity. And by the time you reach the end of this story, you will never look at a US dollar coin the same way again. Story of the US presidential dollar coin begins in the early 2000s when the United States Mint sought a bold way to reintroduce Americans to their own history. The idea was to create a circulating series that would honor each US president in the order they served, starting with the towering figure of George Washington, a man whose leadership shaped the very bones of the country. The Mint envisioned a coin that would shine brighter than the standard dollar, with a rich golden color created from a manganese brass alloy. This gave the coin an eye-catching appearance unlike anything seen in regular pocket change, and this bold metallic choice was only the beginning. Each presidential coin would feature a striking portrait sculpted with crisp detail, capturing the likeness of America's leaders in a way that made each coin feel alive. Instead of the classic Liberty or Eagle imagery, these coins put faces front and center, marking a dramatic shift in U.S. coin design. The goal was to bring history into the hands of the public, turning daily transactions into moments of education and national reflection. But beyond design, the presidential dollar series carried a deeper mission: to revive interest in the dollar coin itself. The United States had introduced several dollar coins in the past, including the Eisenhower dollar, the Susan B. Anthony dollar, and the Sacagawea dollar, but none had fully captured the nation's interest. Circulation remained low, and the dollar bill continued to dominate. The presidential dollar coin project was meant to change the game, and for a time it did. When the first coin of the series was released in 2007, the George Washington dollar, it sparked excitement across the country. Collectors lined up at banks, dealers stocked rolls and bags, and coin enthusiasts anticipated the next release. The edge lettering of the coins added a historic touch rarely seen in modern coinage, featuring inscriptions like "In God We Trust, E Pluribus Unum," and the year of minting placed not on the obverse or reverse, but engraved around the edge, just like early American coins from the 1700s. This nod to tradition elevated the presidential dollars beyond simple collectibles. They were miniature monuments. As the series continued with John Adams, Thomas Jefferson, and James Madison, the coins became a physical timeline of American governance. The founding fathers, the early architects of democracy, the presidents who led through expansion, division, reconstruction, and modern transformation. Each one entered the series leaving behind a portrait that captured their era and influenced. Collectors watched as the nation's history unfolded coin by coin, with each release echoing a different chapter of America's evolving identity. Every president featured on the coin series had to be deceased for at least 2 years, which meant that the series bridged historic and modern eras, presidents from the Revolutionary period through the Industrial Age, the World War era, the Civil Rights era, and the Technological Age. Each took their place in the golden timeline. The Mint meticulously researched models, portraits, and archives to ensure accuracy. This made the presidential dollar collection not only a numismatic achievement, but an educational tool capable of teaching generations through the language of metal and design. Programs showcased the artistry of the Mint sculptors who transformed flat metal into rich, detailed portraits capturing the character of leaders who had shaped history. Whether strong, thoughtful, stern, visionary, or bold, each portrait reflected both realism and respect. George Washington's confident profile, Adams's determined gaze, Jefferson's calm intelligence, Madison's thoughtful expression, and the many presidents who followed, all etched with intention and dignity. As the series progressed, Americans began reconnecting with forgotten presidents, lesser-known leaders who played crucial roles in shaping government structure, foreign policy, economic development, and constitutional interpretation. Presidents like James K. Polk, Franklin Pierce, Rutherford B. Hayes, and Chester Arthur found their stories rediscovered. Thanks to the circulating coins, the series turned history into a hands on experience making knowledge accessible not in textbooks but in everyday transaction site. Despite the praise, the presidential dollar faced challenges. Circulation patterns showed that Americans still preferred paper dollars and many coins ended up stored instead of used. Eventually, billions of coins accumulated in Federal Reserve vaults. This led to a major change. The Treasury halted mass circulation production. Though collector versions continued for collectors, this shift made early circulation coins even more fascinating, as the timeline of the series reflected not only presidential history, but also the modern struggle to re-establish a coin-based dollar system. Still, the educational impact of the presidential dollar series never faded. Teachers used the coins in classrooms, families collected them together, and new generations learned to identify presidents by simply looking at their change coin shops. And collectors prized high-grade examples, mint errors, and first-day issues. Some coins featured striking errors, missing edge lettering, doubled inscriptions, and other rare variations that became highly sought after. In the numismatic world, series ultimately captured the essence of the United States as a nation. Built on leadership, evolution, resilience, and vision, it became a rolling museum of American history. Each coin symbolized a story, not just the story of a president, but the story of a nation. Rising through difficulty, expanding into new territory, redefining itself through war and peace, and stepping into modern global leadership. By exploring the presidential dollar coin series, you explore the heart of America, from Washington to the modern presidency. The series is a reflection of courage, innovation, policy, ambition, challenge, and legacy. It shows how every leader plays a role in shaping the path of a nation, and how the mint found a way to immortalize that journey with artistry that speaks without words. Imagine holding a piece of America in the palm of your hand, not just a coin, but a legacy, a timeline, a silent storyteller stamped in golden brilliance, carrying the faces and the journeys of the leaders who shaped a nation. Welcome to a world where metal meets memory, where history is not read in books but felt through weight, color, shine, and the powerful stories pressed into every ridge and every curve. Today, you and I together are stepping into the remarkable saga of the United States presidential first dollar coin, a coin series that transformed everyday pocket change into an extraordinary gallery of American leadership, a coin that celebrates courage, challenges, victories, transformations, and the complex narrative of presidents who stood at the helm of the country through war, peace, prosperity, and crisis. And as we step into this journey, get ready, because this is not just a discussion, this is a deep dive, a full-scale exploration designed to fuel a 2-hour documentary-level experience that brings coins, history, art, politics, metallurgy, and America itself to life like never before. Our story begins long before the first presidential dollar coin was struck, long before its smooth golden surface gleamed under mint lighting, long before collectors lined up excitedly to secure the newest issue. The idea of honoring presidents on circulating coinage has always been deeply embedded in American tradition. Just think about it. Washington on the quarter, Lincoln on the penny, Jefferson on the nickel, Roosevelt on the dime, Kennedy on the half-dollar. But the creation of a full presidential dollar series was something far more ambitious, something larger in scale and historical reach. Something that would bring every deceased U.S. president into a single unified series introduced by the United States Mint under the Presidential $1 Coin Program, authorized by the Presidential $1 Coin Act of 2005. This series aimed to educate a new generation, preserve national memory, and create modern collectible art that circulated across everyday transactions. The first coin in that ambitious lineup featured the very first president of the United States, George Washington, a man whose name echoes across centuries with leadership, integrity, and iconic national identity. First George Washington presidential $1 coin, released in 2007, arrived with excitement and controversy, curiosity, and admiration, because this coin was different in its look, feel, composition, and features. It used a golden color produced by a special manganese brass alloy, giving it a warm, distinctive shine and a modern yet historical vibe. Collectors immediately noticed its edge lettering, something rare in U.S. circulating coins and reminiscent of early American coinage. The edge inscriptions carried the year mint mark and mottos "In God We Trust" and "E Pluribus Unum," but in an unexpected twist, early coins sometimes missed these edge inscriptions, leading to a wave of rare error coins known famously as godless dollars, which skyrocketed in collector interest and brought mainstream media attention to the new presidential series. To understand the significance of the first presidential dollar coin, we must understand George Washington not in the typical textbook sense, but in the character carved into his portrait. On the obverse, the coin depicts Washington with a dignified forward-facing stance reflecting authority and wisdom, and his name arcs above the portrait, while the years of his presidential term 1789 to 1797 anchor the design. This was the beginning of a series that would follow chronological order, honoring each president with a distinct portrait. Reverse designs, however, stayed uniform, showing the Statue of Liberty in a bold, uplifting pose representing the spirit of American freedom. Designed by Don Everhart, this reverse combined consistency with symbolism, allowing the obverse side to change with each new president, while keeping the series visually unified. Production of the first presidential dollar coin triggered a nationwide push to encourage Americans to use dollar coins in daily spending, much like other countries successfully do with their high-value coins. But despite promotional efforts, including banks distributing rolls and the U.S. Mint advertising widely, Americans were resistant to replacing paper dollar bills. Still, the coin found its place among collectors, hobbyists, historians, and millions who appreciated the artistic, educational, and cultural value of the series. Each coin became more than currency. It became a miniature monument, a tribute to leadership, a spark for national reflection. As we explore deeper for this to our script, we move back into the minting halls where the first presidential dollar coin was crafted. The alloy composition: 88% copper, 6% zinc, 3.5% manganese, and 2% nickel, was chosen for durability, visibility, and accessibility. When blanks were punched, polished, and fed through presses at remarkable speed, the dies struck thousands of coins per hour, imprinting Washington's portrait with precision. Pressure and shine after striking, coins traveled through edge lettering machines, which rolled and inscribed the edges again, something unique for modern American coinage. The precision required here was immense, and any misalignment, misfeed, or skip created valuable variants and errors that collectors still chase today. With rollout day approaching February 15, 2007, banks and businesses prepared to distribute the new coin, opening the door to a modern era of coin collecting. People lined up not just for spending money, but for history in their hands. The beauty of the presidential dollar program was that it served multiple purposes. It honored presidents, it educated the public, it revitalized modern coin design, and it introduced millions to the world of numismatics. Children learned presidents through coins, adults rekindled interest in collecting, and the U.S. Mint embraced technological advances that allowed sharper details, better metal consistency, and more sophisticated design methods than ever before. George Washington's coins set the tone for the entire series, and soon coins featuring John Adams, Thomas Jefferson, James Madison, and many others followed, each one presenting unique portrait styles, each one crafted to reflect the personality and historical legacy of its respective president. But the first coin remained symbolic because it represented the launch, the opening chapter, the foundation stone of a series that would span years and transform modern American numismatic history. The first presidential dollar coin stands as a testament to national pride and artistic innovation. It reminds us that coins are more than money. They are storytellers. They travel through pockets, hands, wallets, drawers, and collections, carrying knowledge through generations. As we continue this to our journey, we will dive deeper into how Washington's coin was received by the public, how early collectors reacted, how rare varieties emerged, and how the release impacted the market. We will explore mintage numbers, circulation patterns, marketing strategies, and the surprising surge of attention brought by missing lettering. Errors. We will analyze its role in educational programs, discuss its impact on coin design philosophy, and examine how it inspired new collectors worldwide. The first presidential dollar coin is more than minted metal. It is a spark, a symbol, and a legacy, and it marks a bold chapter in the continuing story of American numismatics. And when you finish this documentary, you will not only understand this coin, you will feel its weight, its origin, its meaning, and its place in history, because this is the story of a nation told through a coin, and today that story begins with you holding the legacy of George Washington in your hand. Imagine holding a small golden coin in your hand, a coin that carries the weight of an entire nation's history, a coin that represents the presidents who shaped America from its earliest struggles to its rise as a global power. Imagine a coin that is more than metal, more than minting, more than monetary value. This is the story of the United States presidential first dollar coin, a story of ambition, innovation, legacy, and the enduring desire to celebrate the leadership that carved the path of a nation. Welcome to Coins, where history comes alive through the treasures we hold, and today you are about to enter the deep, fascinating, and powerful journey behind the iconic U.S. presidential first dollar coin, a coin that has become a symbol of heritage, artistry, politics, and national pride. And by the end of this story, you will never look at a dollar coin the same way again. The story of the presidential dollar coin begins long before the first strike in 2007. It starts with a centuries-long desire to honor American presidents through coinage, a tradition that arguably began with the Lincoln cent in 1909, but the concept of a full series dedicated to every late president did not take form until the 21st century, when lawmakers sought to reconnect Americans with their currency. The presidential dollar program was born from the spirit of education and celebration. Congress passed the Presidential $1 Coin Act of 2005, which called for a bold new coin series honoring the presidents of the United States in the order they served. Each coin would feature a portrait of a president on the obverse and a powerful depiction of the Statue of Liberty on the reverse, symbolizing the spirit of freedom that each president was sworn to protect. The act also introduced something revolutionary: the use of edge lettering, reintroducing a historic minting practice last seen regularly in the 19th century. Each coin would carry its year of minting, the mint mark, and the mottos E Pluribus Unum and In God We Trust etched along the edge, creating a distinct blend of old-world craftsmanship and modern innovation. When the first coin featuring George Washington was released in 2007, the excitement was immense. Collectors rushed to banks, lines formed, and millions of Americans encountered a new golden dollar unlike any they had seen before, struck in a beautiful manganese brass alloy, giving it a warm golden appearance that echoed the Sacagawea dollar, but with a new mission and message. The Washington dollar was more than a tribute. It marked the beginning of a series that promised to tell the story of America through its leaders. From Washington to Adams, Jefferson, Madison, and onward, each coin became a snapshot of an era, a moment in time preserved in metal, every portrait carefully sculpted to reflect the personality and legacy of the president. It represented the story of the presidential first dollar coin is not just about design, it is also about the challenges, the controversies, and the unexpected issues that shaped the program. Collectors remember the famous missing edge lettering error, where thousands of coins escaped the mint without their inscriptions, leading to sudden excitement and rarity. Demand soared, prices climbed, and collectors hurried to inspect every coin they could find, wondering whether they held a common piece or a rare treasure. The program became a perfect storm of history, artistry, technology, and collecting mystery, and this made the series even more captivating. Behind the scenes, the United States Mint invested heavily in cutting-edge technology to ensure precision. The dies were crafted to highlight every detail, from the curve of Washington's hair to the sharp edges of Jefferson's profile. Engravers studied historic paintings and life masks to recreate the most accurate likenesses possible. The reverse design, always featuring the Statue of Liberty, served as a constant reminder of the ideals that bind the nation together. This consistency created unity throughout the collection, while the obverse portraits brought individuality and historical significance as more coins were released. The story expanded with John Adams with the rise of the early American political system, with Jefferson, whose leadership doubled the size of the nation, with Madison, the father of the Constitution, with Monroe, who ushered in the era of good feelings. Each coin marked the complexities, achievements, and symbolism of their presidencies for viewers. This collection became a long chronological history lesson in metal, connecting modern America to its foundations. The coins told stories of war, peace, progress, crisis, and triumph, stories of hope and challenge, stories that redefined the course of global democracy. Presidential dollar coin program also highlights the struggles of the U.S. Mint to gain widespread public use for dollar coins. Although collectors embraced the series, many Americans continued to prefer the traditional paper dollar. As a result, the coins circulated less than expected, and most ended up in collectors' albums, vaults, and rolls. This created a strange dynamic, where the coins were minted in huge numbers yet barely seen in daily life, and still they remained beloved by enthusiasts who saw them as a once-in-a-generation historical series. The years went on. The release of each new president's coin marked a moment that united collectors across the country. The excitement for rare minting errors, unique satin finish coins, special uncirculated sets, and limited proof editions added depth to the hobby. The presidential dollar coin sets became prized possessions, especially the early issues where the golden luster and strong strikes reflected the highest craftsmanship of the mint. The later coins also gained attention as production numbers decreased, making some of the final presidents among the scarcest of the series. Some cannot talk about the presidential first dollar coin without acknowledging the artistry behind each portrait. Each sculptor brought a unique approach, capturing strength, integrity, wisdom, and character. Washington's dignified presence, Adams' determined gaze, Jefferson's calm intelligence, Madison's thoughtful expression, Monroe's confident posture. Every design told a visual story, reinforcing their legacy through finely etched metal details. This artistry elevates the series from simple coinage to miniature historical monuments, tiny golden canvases that keep America's story alive. As newer generations discovered these coins, they became educational tools for classrooms, documentaries, and historical discussions. Teachers used them to spark curiosity about early America, to explain political parties, to teach about wars, treaties, constitutional changes, expansions, and economic struggles. The coins connected children and adults to history in a way that felt tangible and exciting, a physical reminder that the past is not distant, but always present in our pockets. Collections and national memory. Presidential dollar series ended in 2016 with President Ronald Reagan completing a rich journey of over 2 centuries of American leadership, yet the legacy of series continues. Collectors still hunt for special errors, unique die varieties, high-grade slabs, first-day issue labels, and pristine proof versions. The presidential dollar coins remain highly collectible symbols of American storytelling, representing a bold experiment by the U.S. Mint to honor the nation's leaders and to bring history closer to the public. Story of the U.S. presidential first dollar coin is a story of how a simple object can embody the identity of a nation, how a small golden disc can represent revolutions, transformations, wars, innovations, and the evolving ideals of democracy. It is the story of the presidents who shaped the destiny of the United States, told through craftsmanship, technology, and artistic brilliance. And it is a reminder that every coin, no matter how small, carries a legacy far greater than its face value. In the end, the presidential first dollar coin stands as one of the most ambitious coin programs in American history, a shining symbol of the people who guided the nation through its triumphs and its challenges, a living archive in metal and a timeless treasure for collectors, historians, enthusiasts, and anyone who believes that the story of America is worth preserving and celebrating. This is the journey of the U.S. presidential first dollar coin, a journey filled with meaning, power, and the enduring spirit of a nation. And now, as you dive deeper into this 2-hour exploration, let the story unfold as the golden dollar reveals its secrets, its history, and its incredible place in the legacy of the United States. Imagine holding a blazing beacon of American power in the palm of your hand, a coin so legendary that it rewrote the very meaning of wealth, beauty, and national identity. Imagine a piece of gold that did not just serve as money but became a symbol of ambition, discovery, conflict, artistry, and the unstoppable rise of the United States. This is the story of the U.S. $20 gold double eagle, a coin born from the fires of the California gold rush, shaped by presidents, dreamers, miners, artists, and lawmakers. A coin whose history stretches from muddy mining camps to the polished halls of the U.S. Mint, from the pockets of railroad tycoons to the secret vaults of collectors. A coin that survived wars, depressions, politics, melting pots, and the test of time as it grew into one of the most iconic pieces of American numismatic heritage. Welcome to Coins, where history breathes and shines through the metal that built a nation. And today we open the vault of one of the greatest stories ever struck in gold. The saga of the double eagle begins in 1848, when whispers of gold in California explode into a nationwide fever and shiploads of fortune seekers rush west, dreaming of instant wealth, transforming a quiet territory into the heart of a revolution. And as gold floods into the country, the government realizes that America needs a powerful new coin, a coin large enough to represent the unimaginable flow of newly discovered treasure, a coin worthy of a growing nation that hungers for strength and stability. And so the idea of a $20 gold piece is born, a monumental denomination unlike anything American pockets had known before. It would take the vision of President Millard Fillmore and the mastery of Chief engraver James B. Longacre bring this new symbol to life, giving birth in 1850 to the first ever double eagle. The Liberty head design rises from Longacre's hands, with Lady Liberty crowned with stars standing proud over a nation in transition, while the mighty eagle on the reverse spreads its wings in a display of power and promise, marking the dawn of a new era for American currency. As the coin enters circulation, it becomes the treasure of pioneers, sailors, bankers, and global merchants. Traded in ports from New York to Hong Kong, from London to Havana, its shine becomes a statement that America is here to compete, grow, and dominate the world of commerce. And across decades, as the Civil War tears the nation apart, the double eagle becomes a silent witness to victory, reconstruction, and the expansion of industry and opportunity. By the dawn of the 20th century, America stands stronger than ever, and President Theodore Roosevelt dreams of elevating American coinage into true art, refusing to accept what he called lifeless designs. He demands beauty, innovation, and glory. And so begins one of the most legendary collaborations in minting history, as master sculptor Augustus St. Gaudens transforms the double eagle into a masterpiece in 1907, creating what many call the most beautiful coin ever minted in the United States. The St. Gaudens double eagle, with its radiant liberty striding forward with a torch of enlightenment and an olive branch of peace, and the eagle soaring beneath a rising sun, becomes more than money, becomes sculpture, gold, art, history, and national pride fused in a single breathtaking strike. Collectors around the world covet it, museums display it, nations envy it. Yet even as the coin reaches the height of brilliance, storm clouds gather. The Great Depression devastates the economy, banks collapse, gold becomes a lifeline, and President Franklin D. Roosevelt issues one of the most dramatic orders in monetary history, calling back all circulating gold and halting the minting of gold coins forever. The double eagle era ends in 1933, but its story does not. A final batch of St. Gaudens double eagles struck that fateful year becomes the center of mystery, smuggling legends, courtrooms, and global headlines as they transform into some of the rarest coins on Earth, with a single specimen selling for tens of millions and capturing the imagination of the world today. The double eagle stands not just as a coin, but as a time machine, carrying the echoes of gold rush miners, industrial giants, presidents, and artists who shaped the nation. Its value lies not only in $20 of gold, but in the journey of a country that rose from frontier wilderness to world power, and in this to our story, we will travel through every turn of its creation, evolution, conflict, beauty, and legacy, exploring the birth of the Liberty Head, the rebirth of American artistry. Through St. Gaudens, the drama of the 1933 ban, the survival of rare specimens, the auction records that shook history, and the collectors still searching for the dream of owning a piece of American immortality. So sit back, open your mind, step into the past, and let the tale of the US $20 gold double eagle unfold as one of the greatest sagas ever minted in shining American gold as we move deeper into the world of the double eagle. Picture the mid-19th century American nation stretching wide with ambition, while waves of immigrants pour through eastern ports chasing dreams of prosperity and the promise of land and opportunity. The $20 gold piece becomes more than a currency, it becomes a symbol of the American dream. A physical weight of confidence carried by bankers, merchants, and explorers, and while paper money still struggles to trust, the double eagle becomes the anchor of faith in financial transactions. Its gold content giving reassurance in a rapidly expanding world. Railroads laid down iron pathways across the continent, and the double eagle travels with engineers, captains, merchants, and laborers crossing mountains, deserts, plains, and bustling industrial towns. Each coin carrying markings of its journey, scratches from trade counters, dents from satchels, and the faint shine of human hands that passed it along in bustling marketplaces and dusty frontier outposts. And as factories rise and smokestacks fill the sky, the double eagle stands tall as a beacon of stability in an era of rapid transformation. During the Civil War, its role becomes even more significant as gold becomes scarce, hoarded, and protected with a sense of desperation. The mint continues production, but circulation slows as uncertainty grips the nation. Citizens worry that the paper dollars printed to fund the war will crumble in value, and only the shining certainty of gold can restore confidence. So Americans hold their double eagles close, treating them as lifelines. In a time of upheaval after the war ends and the nation heals, the double eagle returns to the forefront of commerce, traveling with entrepreneurs who build the bridges, railroads, factories, and cities that define the new industrial age. The Liberty Head design evolves slowly, its details refined, its relief adjusted, its striking improved to match the needs of a growing economy now bustling with trade from coast to coast, and overseas ships heavy with gold coins travel across the Atlantic to settle international debts and stimulate global markets. And the double eagle becomes known worldwide as a hard currency backed by a rising superpower, an undeniable testament to the strength of the United States. By the late 19th century, artistic taste begins shifting as America looks toward the classical beauty of European sculpture and architecture, longing for a national coinage that reflects artistic excellence as much as economic stability, and this dream finds its champion in President Theodore Roosevelt, who refuses to accept what he calls dead coins lacking vitality, depth, or character. He demands that American coinage rise to greatness, inspired by the ancient masterpieces of Greece and Rome. And so he summons Augustus St. Gaudens, one of the greatest sculptors in the nation, to transform the double eagle into something transcendent. St. Gaudens studies liberty not as a static face, but as a living figure in motion, a goddess of freedom and hope, stepping forward across time and nation, leading America toward the future. He imagines her with flowing robes, powerful stance, and a torch raised high, illuminating the path of progress, and an olive branch symbolizing peace. And on the reverse, he envisions a soaring eagle gliding over the rising sun, a symbol of strength, ambition, and the dawn of a new age. The collaboration between Roosevelt and St. Gaudens becomes a turning point in American numismatic history, and when the first St. Gaudens double eagles appear in 1907, collectors, dealers, and artists are stunned. The coin is a masterpiece, sculptural and bold, bursting with energy and breathtaking detail, carrying the essence of the American spirit within its golden surface. But the first high-relief versions proved difficult for the mint to strike, forcing Roosevelt and St. Gaudens to accept a lower relief version for mass production. Even so, the design remains one of the most celebrated in the history of world coinage. And its beauty becomes legendary, inspiring generations of artists, historians, and collectors. The story darkens once again with the arrival of the Great Depression. Banks struggle, businesses fail, unemployment rises, and the nation trembles under financial collapse. Americans rush to withdraw gold, hoping to protect their savings. But the government faces a terrifying prospect, a complete drain of the nation's gold reserves that threatens to destroy economic stability. President Franklin Delano Roosevelt steps in with bold, sweeping actions, issuing Executive Order 6102, which demands that all citizens surrender their gold coins and bullion to the Treasury, bringing the age of gold coin circulation to a dramatic halt. The double eagle instantly transforms from a circulating emblem of wealth into a forbidden relic, no longer legal to hold or trade except in rare collectible exemptions. Minting stops.